Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. It's a highly complex reality that sits quietly underneath almost every single digital action you take. We're talking about the technology behind device detection. It's basically this invisible architecture, right? Built straight into the fabric of the web, our networks, and even our operating systems. Let's get into it.
So ask yourself this. If you fire up a VPN, clear your cookies, and browse in incognito mode, are you invisible? Well, most people would say, yeah, obviously. But let me tell you about a 19-year-old named Peter Stokes. Stokes was an alleged hacker for the Scattered Spider Group, and he took all of those exact precautions. He routed his traffic through commercial VPNs, proxy servers, the whole shebang. He thought he was a total ghost. Yet, in April of 2024, Finnish police stopped him dead in his tracks at the Helsinki airport on an Interpol red notice. How did they find him? Well, because true digital invisibility, it's largely an illusion.
Here's how we're going to break this down. First, the VPN illusion. Then, surface-level browser fingerprinting, network connection tracking, the operating system mesh, deep hardware telemetry, and finally, we'll ask, can you truly hide? Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to take a journey straight down the technology stack, from the surface level of the web browser all the way down to the absolute bedrock of silicon hardware.
Section 1. The VPN illusion. Unmasking basic privacy tools.
You know, millions of people rely on VPNs every single day, believing it's this ultimate cloak of anonymity. But here's the thing. A VPN is incredibly good at doing exactly one thing: hiding your current network IP address. It just swaps your location for a proxy server's location. But what a VPN completely fails to hide is your device's underlying hardware mesh and its global device identifier, or GDID. In that Peter Stokes case, investigators tracked an account creation on a service called ngrok. The IP address led to a total dead-end VPN proxy hosted by Tuzlo. But Microsoft's records showed that at that exact minute, a Windows device broadcasting a very specific GDID, G6755467234350028, visited that sign-up page. And then, just 3 hours later, that exact same GDID visited the breached retailer's website through the exact same proxy. So, the VPN rotated the IP? Sure, but it completely exposed the device.
Moving on to Section 2, Surface, Browser Fingerprinting, Tracking without cookies.
So let's move a bit deeper, down to the surface of the web itself. Browser fingerprinting is how companies track you even when you've aggressively blocked or cleared every single one of your cookies. It works by aggregating dozens of what we call weak signals. Think about it. Countless visitors might share your exact same operating system. But the little variations in your installed software, your specific configurations, and those minor hardware differences, they all combine to create a high-entropy identifier. It's this probabilistic profile that is so complex and so uniquely yours that it can distinguish you from literally millions of other users online. And they do all of this without placing a single cookie on your machine. Pretty wild, right?
These fingerprinting scripts, they just run silently in the background. They can combine over 100 different signals without altering your user experience one bit. For example, they hash how your specific graphics card renders hidden HTML5 text. That's called canvas fingerprinting. WebGL fingerprinting literally analyzes the microscopic, hardware-dependent variations in how your GPU draws 3D shapes. There's TLS fingerprinting, which examines the exact cryptographic algorithms your browser uses to shake hands with a server. They even measure the precise way your CPU and browser vendor generate sound waves using a digital oscillator. Throw in a list of your installed system fonts and connected cameras, and suddenly, your device is glaringly unique.
But it gets better. Or, well, worse, depending on how you look at it. Modern browsers like Microsoft Edge now use something called user agent client hints. This allows servers to silently and instantly detect high-entropy data about your machine. Even if you try to spoof your user agent, these client hints tell a website exactly if you're running Windows 10 versus Windows 11. It tells them specifically whether your CPU architecture is ARM or x86, just so the server can optimize an app download. It's super efficient, sure, but it's another massive clue pointing right to exactly who you are.
All right, Section 3, Network, Tracking Connections, Location and Local Network Identity.
Let's see how this whole thing builds at the next level down: physical, local connections. Every single Wi-Fi router in the world has a BSSID, which is a unique 48-bit identifier. So every time you walk past a neighbor's house or sit in a coffee shop, your smartphone pings the routers around it and reports those BSSIDs back to companies like Google and Apple. Why?
to fine-tune your location via the Wi-Fi Positioning System, or WPS.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this data can be weaponized. Researchers actually demonstrated an attack using Apple's WPS database, which features an unauthenticated, publicly accessible API. By guessing 48-bit numbers and then filtering them down using the 36,000 known manufacturer codes, or OUIs, attackers can just request the location of a router. And Apple's system then helpfully returns not just that router, but the exact GPS locations of up to 400 nearby BSS IDs. Using this technique, researchers literally tracked the deployment of Starlink routers on the front lines in Ukraine and monitored the disappearance of routers in Gaza, all from a simple public API. Absolutely crazy.
Now, to fight back against this local network tracking, modern operating systems like iOS, Android, and Windows now randomize your device's MAC address by default, but it's a massive cat-and-mouse game. In response, enterprise networks, we're talking places like hospitals, banks, and corporate campuses, they now use a framework based on the radius protocol. So even if your phone scrambles its MAC address on every single connection, the network correlates your behavioral profile, your certificates, or MDM enrollment, and assigns you a persistent good. Basically, the network always knows it's you.
Section 4. The Operating System Mesh, Windows, and the Identifier Graph.
Let's descend even further into how an operating system actually weaves this inescapable identifier graph around your digital life. And this brings us right back to the GDID, the Global Device Identifier that caught Peter Stokes. The GDID is a permanent, entirely unique digital fingerprint. But here's the really critical detail. Your computer actually doesn't generate this locally. Nope. When you set up Windows, a system service talks to Microsoft's login servers, and the server assigns this value to you. It gets stored directly in your registry, and then the Connected Devices platform broadcasts it back to Microsoft whenever your PC shares data.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking this sounds like some wild conspiracy theory, take a look at the Department of Justice's federal complaint. It actually quotes a Microsoft representative under oath describing the GDID as a persistent device-level identifier designed to uniquely identify an installation of a Windows operating system across certain Microsoft services and scenarios. So this tracking, it's a fully documented, legally recognized reality that is actively used by law enforcement.
So, how exactly did this GDID link Stokes to the websites he was allegedly hacking? Well, Windows integrates URL reputation checks, like Defender Smart Screen, straight into the operating system. When you navigate to a site, these optional diagnostic and reputation channels bundle the URL you are visiting into the exact same telemetry packet header as your GDID. And this is exactly why the VPN failed him. Microsoft doesn't correlate this stuff by your rotating IP address. They correlate it by the stable identifier living right there inside the packet itself.
Section 5. Deep Hardware Telemetry. The passive join key of last resort.
Okay, now we reach the absolute bottom layer. We're talking about the bedrock of silicon hardware. Let's say you somehow manage to wipe your GDID. Well, Windows still routinely sends massive amounts of passive diagnostic data. We're talking about incredibly specific things like your chassis type, your trusted platform module version, your baseboard manufacturer, and even the exact number of active microphones attached to your device. This isn't just a random list of parts. Collectively, this hardware telemetry forms a massive distinctive fingerprint of your exact machine.
The crucial takeaway here becomes really clear when we look at this reset resistance matrix. If you use a VPN, you're only rotating your network IP. Literally everything else survives. Okay, what if you do a complete clean wipe and reinstall of your operating system? Well, you rotate your GID and your telemetry IDs, but look down at the bottom rows. Your hardware attestation and hardware fingerprint survive a total hard drive wipe. Because those physical silicon traits haven't changed, the very second you sign back into that wiped machine, the mesh just simply re-anchors right back to your surviving hardware and immediately rebuilds your identity profile. Boom, you're tracked again.
Section 6. Can you truly hide? The reality of modern connectivity.
Understanding the reality of modern connectivity means understanding that you are, quite frankly, never just a single data point. As the Cyber News Network really aptly summarized in their structural analysis of this whole case, the GDID is not the Windows tracking identifier. It is one node in a redundant mesh. In a graph, you do not defeat attribution by removing one node. The cluster reforms through the survivors. Cut one string of the net and it just instantly weaves itself back together around the anchors that are left behind.
And it's really important to realize that this isn't solely a privacy liability for individuals. For enterprise defenders and cybersecurity teams, this mesh is actually an incredibly powerful asset. When defenders monitor this data, they're looking for what's called a plane divergence. That's where a device reports a brand new operating system ID, but it has the exact same hardware fingerprint as a previously known machine. This instantly exposes insider threats who are trying to cover their tracks or adversaries attempting to clone virtual machines. So the exact same tech that stops you from hiding is exactly what keeps corporate networks secure.
So we've traveled from the surface web all the way down to the physical silicon. If peeling back these layers reveals that true anonymity requires physically throwing your hardware in the trash and buying a brand new machine, what parts of your digital footprint are you unknowingly broadcasting right now? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next one.